Hello friends and viewers, and welcome to my Hasna character guide. My name is James, I'm a global player and I started Sword of Convallaria in early September 2024. I'm a strategy and turn-based RPG fan, with the Fire Emblem series, Tactics Ogre, and Unicorn Overlord being some recent titles I enjoy. As such, I lack the technical knowledge and exposure to the Taiwan and China scene. I'm also a PvE-focused player, so I have no knowledge of PvP. As a result, I'm subject to feedback and open to being wrong. If you come across conflicting information to other guides and creators in this video, then that suggests that there are multiple ways to play a character. Play your way. As a fun fact about myself, I'm also an avid Thai tea boba enjoyer. Her trait is Lingering Fragrance. This provides group utility through her Hidden Fragrance debuff aura. It decreases enemies' attack and defense by 15% and increases their chance of being critically hit by 15% as well. Her initial skill is Dark Withering. It's an AoE utility skill to disable healing received. You will primarily play around Hasna's single target capabilities with Hidden Fragrance, so you're unlikely to use this skill long term. At rank 1, your choices are Hypnosis or Battle Fever. Hypnosis guarantees sleep on an enemy, which can leave an enemy target vulnerable or cancel an enemy support unit. However, the most difficult content commonly have crowd control immunity. Battle Fever offers damage mitigation anytime Hasna initiates an attack, and she will boast high crit to commonly trigger the bonus effect. Long term, you're unlikely to use either skill, so consider selecting based off the HP or defense stat increases. My pick here was Hypnosis. At rank 3, I recommend Scented Trace and consider Castalia for Aroma Shock. Scented Trace maintains healthy energy regen for Hasna to use skills over consecutive turns, in addition to having self-sustained healing when she lands kills. If you're at a low Voyager level, consider Castalia for Aroma Shock as a strong single target and Hidden Fragrance spread option until rank 11. With a cooldown of 0 turns and Scented Trace, Hasna will be able to cast this frequently. For her reaction trait, your options are Soft as Flowers or Rage. Which reaction skill you select depends on your playstyle. Soft as Flowers offers 30% damage mitigation from active attacks, but consider Rage if you lean into more aggressive gameplay, offering less mitigation but a damage buff for 3 turns. My pick here is Soft as Flowers. At rank 7, I recommend Scent Tracker. Scent Tracker offers a crit buff, increased range, and additional movement after landing a critical hit. At the rate that Hasna applies Hidden Fragrance, she will likely receive benefits from this every turn. While Assault pushes an aggressive move for a single turn, its 3-turn cooldown does not boast as strong returns compared to Scent Tracker. For her basic attack upgrade, I recommend Murderous Phantom. Disregarding Murderous Phantom's target adjacent benefit, note that this ability has the same range and does 10% more magic damage compared to Hypnotic Attack and Energy Wave. Enemies are more likely to move into Hasna's melee range than vice versa, and with Scent Tracker, the guaranteed critical hit allows her to do some damage, then disengage. For Hypnotic Attack, as previously mentioned at rank 1, the most difficult content commonly have crowd control immunity, and the sleep proc is subject to RNG. Regardless which you select, Hasna will not commonly use her basic attack. At rank 11, I recommend Penetrating. Despite the additional energy cost, Penetrating easily nets more damage, and a combination of Scented Trace and Scent Tracker help provide the energy regen to allow Hasna to cast this over consecutive turns. You may consider Life Devour in encounters that Hasna cannot secure kills, to benefit from Scented Trace's recovery, and have unreliable energy regen, but those are solvable scenarios. This slide describes some of her passive skill synergy. Lingering Fragrance, her trait, enemies are debuffed with Hidden Fragrance when they walk within range of her. Scent Tracker, one of her skill passives, at the start of Hasna's turn, she gains crit, range, and movement buffs if there are enemies with Hidden Fragrance within 4 tiles of her. Scented Trace, another skill passive, she recovers 2 energy every time she attacks enemies with Hidden Fragrance. So in a hypothetical scenario, an enemy moves into Hasna's tile range, which triggers her trait and applies Hidden Fragrance. At the start of her turn, she attacks the target with a Scent Tracker passive. By attacking the Hidden Fragrance target with Scent Tracker, She then triggers the Scented Trace passive, recovering 2 energy. As a side note, if an enemy is already within Hasna's range and already has Hidden Fragrance, she will still attack with her Scent Tracker passive and recover 2 energy from Scented Trace. With these 2 passive skills and her trait, she'll have high energy regen, making it realistic to cast Penetrating over consecutive turns. Based on her trait and passive skill synergy, this is my recommended build. If your Hasna has not reached rank 11, you would use Aroma Shock over Penetrating. For weapons, I recommend Focus Wand, which complements her single target toolkit and passive skills well. If Focus Wand is unavailable, consider Starry Sky Heritage. If you're still early in your Voyager progression, then Gazing Orb is a good option until you get more legendary weapons. For trinket recommendations, Fancy Hat protects Hasna's active and passive skills, particularly notable for the skill synergy I previously mentioned. Flying Blade Arm Guard and Disaster Bottle with a Scented Trace passive can be used to apply Hidden Fragrance or recover energy. For more aggressive gameplay, consider Maverick's Cloak, especially with Scent Tracker, otherwise Origin Hourglass for Magic Attack stat stick. For tarots, these tarots are not listed in any particular order. Verdict of Justice is a great general use tarot to increase her crit and crit damage. Hierophant's Laws assumes you have unlocked its hidden effect. This tarot will increase her single target damage and add some AoE survivability, but the heal will not impact Scented Trace. Course of Fortune, as a generally used tarot, the AoE attack can also be used to apply Hidden Fragrance or recover energy with Scented Trace, or Temptation of the Devil when a particular map has a target count to support it. For Engravings, with the unharmed benefit from Focus Wand, consider the Sword and Pentacle Resonance as well if you can sustain Hasna at 100% HP. Otherwise, although Hasna has 3 move and long range attacks, movement is still commonly required on any map to get into proper position, so you can rely on Sword and Wand Resonance as well. For some team composition tips, one of the debuffs from Hasna's trait is increasing the chance of being critically hit. Consider any units that scale with crit to further take advantage of this. With Hasna's trait alone, she very quickly applies a number of debuffs. Consider using her with Dentalion's Leader Aura, although Hasna will not benefit, and or with Rauya, whose Tropical Cyclone is stronger based on number of debuffs. If Hasna does not have Fancy Hat, consider any units that offer disruption protection, such as Kay, Archer, and Edda, so Hasna can maintain her passive skill synergy. Hasna is part of the Drifter and Alacrity categories, so consider a leader aura from one of these and build a team with Hasna. For Drifter buffs, they come from Miguel and Abyss. Miguel's aura gives 5% more attack and 10% more defense than the typical leader aura. Compared to Abyss, Miguel provides a stronger aura. Only consider Abyss if it's your only option for a Drifter team. For Cole, she provides additional crit by 15% and crit damage by 15%. These bonuses complement Hasna's toolkit well. Nurgle provides an Alacrity aura, but Cole provides a stronger one. You may consider this aura through Nurgle if you do not want to roster 2 Seekers. This is how my Hasna looks today. I managed to get her to 2 stars from her banner release. She has the Focus Wand and the Fancy Hat for that disruption protection, using Sword and Wand Engravings, and I have her with the Verdict of Justice tarot as well. Her equipped skills follows my recommendation, using Penetrating as the energy dump and her 2 passive skills that I mentioned. That concludes my character guide. As mentioned in my disclaimer, I welcome feedback and I'm open to being wrong. I'm still learning and improving at this video game just like you. Additionally, if you find conflicting information to other guides or content creators, then that means there are multiple ways to build a character and still be successful. I highly recommend that you play your way. Here is my contact information, my YouTube, Discord, and email. And as always, please feel free to comment below with any feedback you have about this guide. Last but not least, I want to credit and share these resources that contributed to helping me build this guide. Thanks for watching.